why you're not getting them or whatever. But again, if you enjoyed today's conversations, I would encourage you guys to email ccinfo@addictedtoconnecting.com. That also is our website, addictedtoconnecting.com, right? If you email me there, I can add you to the invite list so you can kind of get knowledge and understanding of what's coming up next week on the discussions. And so, you know, today we're 1 week away from our anniversary. We've got a couple new folks on today, which excites me because now we're much closer to our 100-person goal of the year, right? And next year or next week, we're going to celebrate going into our 5th year of Coffee Connect, guys. This has been amazing. It's been an amazing ride. And this last year, I think, resource-wise, right, we've really taken a steep climb with the website, with the newsletter, and all kinds of other things that are going on. And so this week's conversation is really book buzz. We do about a quarterly or every, or, at least twice a year, kind of a book share to kind of figure out what are people reading, where are people getting their inspiration or their joy from, where are they learning their lessons from. And today's just going to give us all an opportunity, right? And so we're going to go straight to a breakout, really, right? And in this breakout, it's a real simple breakout, guys. If you could recommend just one book that maybe changed your perspective on something important, right? What would it be? Okay. And so I'm going to stop sharing right there. We're going to get these rooms shook up. For all the new folks, keep in mind at some point today, we will offer you an opportunity to provide your elevator speech to the group in the big group, right? And so if you don't get a chance to meet someone, I want you to know, I want everyone in the group to know who you are, what you do, what you're looking for, how we might be able to help in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to. That is amazing. Ray, I'm sorry I didn't see you in the breakout until kind of the last minute, brother, but glad you were able to make it here too. What did we learn? What books are people reading, right? What does it say about them and what did you feel when they were like, man, I think that might be something that I want to look into, right? And so we're going to kind of go round robin here, round table. And I know I'm not sharing right now, but we're going to share that book with the group that you've recently read. Remember, that group was about something that you recommend. This is about something that you've recently read. And I want you to kind of answer why you chose the book, what your biggest takeaways were on the book, and then who do you think would benefit from reading that book. And we're going to do the Zeph Zan pass here. So as I share one, I'm going to call somebody out and pass the baton to the next person to do the same as we go around the room. And so my book that I've been recommending, and I would also refer to everybody's heard me talk about this, is The Next Door Millionaire, right? And just about creating habits, right? Or where we've gotten our habits for our money situations that we're in, or our financial situations we're in right now. I told, I shared in our group that I shared that with one of my financial wellness workshop students a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe at the most, right? And literally 3 days later, the guy was texting me. He was like, I can't put it down. Like, I can't stop listening to this audio. There's so much good information in here because of the bad habits that many of us probably form over time, right? And so I think my biggest takeaway is, even though I'm in finance today, is that I still had some of those bad habits, probably from what my parents put away and into my head and stuff like that, and trying to figure out ways to avoid them and move on with what are good, sound financial habits, right? And that was my biggest takeaway. From anybody, I think anybody literally would benefit from it. But I told the group, I said, I think every 20-year-old 21-year-old, 22-year-old that says, man, I want something different than what my parents had, they should listen to the audio, right? Or read the book, right? And so that's Next Door Millionaire by Thomas Stanley. Joe, tossing it to you, man.
Man, you're killing me. You want the book that I did in the breakout room or what I'm reading now?
It doesn't have, you said that you were going to share the one that you read now. That's fine.
Yeah, the one that I'm reading now, if I can get that in there, The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. He talks about different things where um, he gives different examples like companies that are just trying to figure out the next quarter usually don't do as well as companies that are, say, trying to figure out the next generation, or how do they keep their customers happy in the long run rather than just, the next 3 months or the next 6 months or whatever. That, folks who look at the longer run typically do better than at the short run. And there are probably some investing lessons in there as well. And I will throw it to Ray. I always enjoy the books that he gives.
Hey, real quick before you go, Ray, and for the new folks, do me a favor before you share your book, give us your 30-second elevator pitch and let us know who you are and what you do, okay? Go ahead. Sorry about that, Ray.
Oh,
Are you saying I need a pitch?
No, you don't need to. I'm talking about the new folks that are here for the first time.
Oh, okay. Um, so the book that I'm okay. At the beginning of the year, the first quarter, I actually read through a certain set of books because they're like the foundations of everything that I do. I read 10X, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, very simplistic, basic books. Um, what is it? The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's one of my core books that I read often. But the new book that I have next on my list to read is Systemize, which I'll put the author and everything in the chat. But yeah, I don't know. The book that changed me the most would have to be Think and Grow Rich, just because it was the first book that I read on my own that kind of put me in a certain mindset of doing things. And a book that I think impacted me the most would be Never Eat Alone. That's how I became an avid networker. So I will pass it to Lamar.
I suspected you would do that, Ray.
Well, you popped up on my screen. I thought you were going to say something.
Anyway, my name's Lamar Ratcliffe. As a retired veteran, recovering banker, and retired financial advisor, I love to help people in transition. A book that I continue to read, continue to share is called 60 Seconds and You're Hired. And this is a great book for people that are in transition. The author's name is Robin Ryan, Ryan. And I just did a little research in the past few days and found out that she's now wrote another book called 40 Years and You're Hired, which must be focusing on older job seekers. So I put the first book, 60 Seconds and You're Hired, in the chat. I'll put my own information in the chat. And if we've not connected, please send me an email. We'll have a one-to-one phone call. And I love to make win-win introductions, but I need to know where you're coming from first. And I'm going to pick, if he's still on, Dave Scobland.
I agree with Ray on both of those books. One of the other ones I like, really anything by Simon Sinek, but start with why. If you've listened to any of the podcasts that I've been involved with on Coffee Connect, why is my favorite word for a whole lot of reasons. I just guess I was a nasty little kid to my mom, always asking why. But that's a great starting spot. And any of his books are good. For those that are thinking of starting a business, Gino Wickman has written Traction. That will put you to sleep. So if you want to get off of sleeping pills, you can do that. But what the heck is EOS is what employees get for an understanding. So if you think of the Cliff Notes, this would be a great way if you're thinking of looking at how to implement the entrepreneur operating system. This is the cheat sheet that will get you through 400 pages in very simplistic way. With that, let me take it to Karen.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, the book that I keep reading over and over is Getting Things Done by David Allen. So, really I think it's about organization and figuring out, getting yourself aligned for what your next steps are that you're going to take. So that's a quick overview. I'm sure you can all look it up. So thanks. And I'll pass it over to Jim.
I knew you were going to do that. So I'm a new guy. Quick introduction. I'm a technical project program manager. Spent most of my career doing engineering, R&D, manufacturing, high-tech stuff in the DoD environment. And I've been out of work since October last year. So I'm not unfamiliar with searching for a job. I've done a lot of contract work over the years. So about half of it's been permanent employee, half of it's been doing contract work as well. But doesn't change the fact that this is the second longest stint that I've had being out of work. And the vibe that I've felt in the job market probably hasn't been this bad since post 9/11. So having said that, I probably have more books in play than I've actually finished reading. But one that I'm reading right now, because I tend to be an overthinker, it's called Stop Overthinking by Nick Trenton. I do tend to read books that are in the self-help realm just to kind of keep myself in check. It's just one of those things. But yeah, I could probably put a list on here of books in my bookshelf that I haven't even cracked open yet. And my Kindle. So I've got paper versions and electronic versions that are in various states of play at this point. Let's see.
In all fairness, Jim, right, as you're going to pass this on, I understand that. Listen, we all read and listen to audios, really just trying to keep up with Jeff Hexter. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, there, you gave me a name. All right. How about Jeff?
It's not a contest. I set a goal of a book a week and I try to exceed it, but I'm listening. I had a big laugh when Dave said that traction will put you to sleep. I listened to that book twice. It's not something you want to listen to while you're driving. We did it in my business book club, and I realized it's great ideas, but they do not apply to the one-person business. You need a team. Anyway, it's good stuff, but it's good systems, but you need a team. The book I'm reading now that I'm actually rereading is this one here. It's Resolved, 13 Resolutions for Life by Orrin Woodward. And it is, the idea comes from, I think it was it Ben Franklin that wrote his ideas for, he had a process of practicing these 13 virtues, and he'd cycle through them on a weekly basis or something like that. This idea is similar, and it's broken out into these 13 chapters and a bunch of appendices about principles that you want to master in your life for private achievement, public achievement, and leadership achievements. And I'm in a book club where we're discussing this book right now, one chapter at a time. I usually read the whole book and then discuss the whole book. But
What was that name again? Sorry.
Resolved, 13 Resolutions for Life by Orrin Woodward. And I have the print version. I also have the audio version. So I can modify, I can actually underline passages for the discussions in the print version. Can't do that with an audiobook. I'll throw this to Natalie.
Thanks, Jeff. So the book that I just recently read, and it was fascinating. It's called The Future is Faster Than You Think. And it's Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler. And fascinating because it talks about convergence and how we're in this age of superconvergence with the cheaper cost of materials and new discoveries in materials, 3D printing, nano technology, digital biology, blockchain, and how the convergence of all those technologies is accelerating the future. But what makes it fascinating is this book was written 2000, and already things that they talk about in this book are either obsolete or have happened, but have happened in different ways. So it was a mind-opening book in terms of giving you a sense of take stock of where we are today. How's everything happening, converging? What does that mean for the future? And then what are the things that we really need to be paying attention to? So big advances in medicine with AI-enabled technology. And then I think for me personally, it's a moment of like, well, what does this mean for me in my profession, my career, and what should I be doing to sort of future-proof myself as a professional as well? So highly recommend it. And then just also a quick, I'm also reading Summer Hackley's Search in Plain Sight. It's a really good primer on how to work with executive recruiters if you're in the executive space and you need to work with recruiters. So also recommend that as a quick read. And I am going to throw this to Julie.
Natalie, can you put those in the chat too when you get a chance, please?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
For job search, because it was quite a long time ago when I did it and stuff, I still recommend What Color Is Your Parachute? Because I've used that a couple times. For historical and also true, and I listened to Spare by Prince Harry, and I mean, it's a really, really big book. But I was so absorbed into it and stuff, I couldn't wait to like get in the car and like listen to it. And then just for pure pleasure, I'm currently on the second book of a trilogy. I didn't know it was a trilogy. It's called The Mirror, and it's by Nora Roberts, and ghost stories, Maine and stuff. So it's kind of interesting and stuff. So, but I'm a very slow reader, so I do lots and lots of audiobooks. So those are my recommendations.
Thanks, Julie.
And I will send it off to, let's see, who hasn't gone yet and stuff. Let's see, Ray's gone. It said Nevin's gone.
Eric, Joanne, Jeff D, Aaron.
Jeff D. How about Jeff D?
Reading a book. I'm just gonna Who Moved My Cheese? It's an easy read. Oh, can you hear me okay?
There you go, Jeff.
Now I can, yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm not currently reading a book, but I have read Who Moved My Cheese multiple times. If you haven't read it yet, I strongly encourage you to. It's an easy read. You can probably hammer it out in like 45 minutes or less. It's all about change, adapt to change, getting out of your own way, going with the punches. It's essentially a kid's book, but nice little boost. If you're feeling in a rut, again, knock it out, and it'll probably inspire you to push forward. Who Moved My Cheese? So with that, I'll pass it to Joanne.
Okay, they're kind of tied into my thing last week. They're the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, and I really like doing that book because it puts you in the mindset of how to think about your business and make sure that you are doing proper planning for all of your cash. That it recommends doing bucketing from what you need for your taxes, what you need for your operating expenses, making sure that you have a profit from the very beginning. Typical business just waits and sees what falls out to their bottom line to see whether they're profitable. And with this one, you're planning profit in from the very first dollar of income that you receive, and then making sure that you're driving your income up and reducing your expenses in order to be as efficient as possible, and let that money then ultimately grow in your profit bucket of your banking there. So that is one of the books there that I keep going back to quite often, and I use as part of my philosophy with my clients too.
Can you put that in the chat for me?
Sherry, you're up. The best for last. You're muted, sweetie.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Sherry Little Reagan, and for the people I didn't talk to yet, so me and Rodney served together way back on the Big E in the Enterprise. So he is a brother of mine. So thank you for inviting me, Rodney. And just real quick about me, I have been a quality engineer, both supplier quality, external and internal quality engineer for probably the last 12 years or so. And that's just how my mom works. I like to solve problems. Rodney knows that. Find problems, solve them. That's what I do. So I have been out of work for a couple of months. This is, I heard James was talking about like this job market is something I have never seen before. Like I've never never struggled to find work. Like anytime I was looking for a job, I just float my resume out and I would have, 4 interviews in a week, but it's been very difficult. But other than that, just trying to keep my spirits up, keep looking, but also to be honest, like as much as I love to read and I'm an avid reader, I haven't read a book in a while. Life's been so crazy. But I will tell you the most impactful book I think that in recent years was at one of my jobs. We read that book, The 12 Habits of Successful People, I think it's called. And then we actually did a workshop, and I will never forget that, they had all these cards you had to pick out, and you had to say, hey, these are my, you had to, hello? Uh-oh.
You're still there.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. And my screen just went black. So we had to, you had all these cards. You had to pick out what's the things that's most important to you. And then you had to keep giving them up until you got down to one card. And that was supposed to be what you said is the most important thing in your life. And they asked the question, like, if I went to 3 people in your life and asked them what's the most important thing to you, would they say that card? And that was very impactful of like, if I say this is the most important thing to me, is that what I'm showing to my family and friends? So that was the book that I remember that stood out to me.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Sherry, Aaron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you want to share the book that you've been reading? I know we talked earlier.
Yeah, because I literally just started it and I didn't really have a whole lot of insight into it, but it's called Main Street Millionaire by Cody Sanchez. And she basically talks about buying small businesses and upscaling them. And her whole purpose is to take back businesses and make them more Main Street than wealthy billionaire type businesses. So it's more on the level of us owning them instead of the 1% owning everything. So
Aaron, what was your reasoning for picking that book?
I found Cody on YouTube and I started to listen to a lot of what she had to say. And she started out in finance and then she just started to buy small, boring businesses. And she just was really, she made a lot of sense. And especially since I had been feeling, and I know I've said it here, kind of lost as to what I want to do now, this felt really good and it felt very like centering for me. So I started to follow her and then she said she had that book and I put it on reserve at the library and it took weeks to get it. Like it's kind of popular I think right now. So I I just picked it because she's no grit, like she's just full of grit and she tells it how it is and I kind of like that of her. So
Perfect. Thank you so much, Aaron. Habib, are you with us, brother?
Good greetings. Yes, I'm still here.
Do you have a book you want to share?
Yes, I would want to say, oh, first, good greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. And I have read this book a long time ago, and I really like it. It's called A History of God by Karen Armstrong. And it basically explores the 3 Abrahamic religions of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. And it's like a good book that you can read, which offers you a more in-depth insight without no judgment whatsoever, because it's like a more objective kind of approach towards these religions and not just going at it in a more, you can say, on a surface level, but exploring them on a deeper level. And I really like the way how Karen Armstrong really just goes into the finer details and exploring all the nuances of the religion. Like she knows more about Islam than a lot of Islamic scholars. So that's how amazing she is. And I'm not much of a book reader, but that's the book that I read a long time ago. So that's what I wanted to share with you all. Thank you so much for
I
listening to me.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that, Habib. I think for sure, man, we could always use more understanding, right? When it comes to those things. And so, guys, we're going to go to one more breakout here for the day, right? And as always, when we read something, or maybe in Julie's case, where she's reading multiple different genres of books and stuff, right? Our book tells us a lot about who we are and what we're doing or what goals we're trying to achieve and stuff like that, right? And so I really want you to go back to the breakout room, obviously go through introductions if you need to, guys, and stuff, but and talk about what does your book choice say about you, right? What does Awesome. I think everybody's back, right? We're gonna go ahead and listen, I don't know about you guys, but that was a great conversation that we just had, right? In our group and stuff. And hopefully you guys learned some things about people today, right? That maybe you didn't know. Maybe you learned some things, hopefully, about yourself that maybe you didn't know, right? I want to invite everyone right now, right? If you found somebody you want to meet up with, you want to talk with one-on-one, please, say so in the chat, right? So that you can get those connections moving. I'll feel free to stick around for a little while afterwards. We want to open up breakout rooms for you guys to go to. We can do that, right? But these conversations we have, it isn't just about coming in here and learning a lesson. It's hopefully about encouraging all of us to reach out to each other, right? I know Teresa was on for a very short time because she had to jump off, but I want to get connected with her. I want to have a one-on-one and hopefully get her to one of our breakfasts here on Thursday mornings and stuff like that. James, I'd love to talk with you more and learn more about your background and stuff and see how we can help each other, man, and stuff. But that's what it's really about, guys. So I want to encourage you guys to do that. As I mentioned, we had a couple new folks today, right? We are up to 93, not 91 on the year. That means on the anniversary week, we need 7 new folks next week to reach our goal of 100 for the year, guys, and go into our 5th year, right, with 100 new associates joining us and having a good time. As I mentioned, the anniversary edition is out there. We're putting it out there already. I've already sent out a couple emails. In fact, you should be getting one right about now. And Natalie's shaking her head, yes, right. And listen, for those of you that come every week and come when you can, right, I appreciate you guys. And some of those emails that I've been sending out aren't necessarily addressed to you. It's really addressed to the 260 something people that we haven't seen in a year or 2 years or 3 years, right? And so hoping that we can grab a few of them, even if just for 1 week, right? To jump back on here with us next week, have a great celebration of our accomplishments and the connections and the web of great community that we've really weaved over the last 4 and 5 years and stuff. So guys, go out there, read, learn, grow together, right? Make those connections, help each other. Someone says, be kind, right? I think that was Teresa earlier. She teaches kids to be kind, right? That's one of her things that she does today. Be kind to everybody. And remember, guys, always remember, I love you guys. All right. Have a great week.
Everyone.
And if you
We'll
want
see you next.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.